When I started to really kind of watch movie making, I remember seeing this picture in Apocalypse Now.
It takes a brain to be a good photographer. With Brando, you didn't know what you were facing. But Dennis Hopper was easy because he made pictures for you. He really would give you the picture. With Brando, it was more tricky. You couldn't really ask him because he could say no like that. You have to understand what makes a picture.
My 20 years plus in this business has been a bit of a photographer education for me. Your eyes in the camera and just experiencing the world in a way I'd never had before. I hitchhiked around the world when I was about 18, 19 years old. And I think my interest and passion for photography probably started on that trip. And then almost immediately after that trip ended, my modeling career started. And so then I got to see the world.
I've had the rare opportunity to meet many amazing photographers who move through the different landscapes to create powerful images. I'm always inspired by how these images transform the way we see people and understand the world. A great photograph needs no explanation, but on Capture, these incredible people tell the story of creating their most memorable images. I'm Mark Seliger, and this is Capture. Hi, I'm Mark Seliger, and welcome to Capture. I'm here with Mary Ellen Mark, photojournalist and portrait photographer whose work has changed, I think, the scope of modern photography. Also, Helena Christensen, supermodel, photographer, entrepreneur, creative director of Nylon.
I co-found Nylon, yeah.
It's great to have you two here, and the two of you who have a relationship as teacher and student.
And friends.
And friends, to see your work grow from the inspiration that Mary Ellen has given our world in photography. Mary Ellen, you stopped being a cheerleader, right?
Just remind me of that.
And you were a
cheerleader?
I was a head cheerleader.
Oh my God,
head
that's
cheerleader.
awesome.
So when your career as a cheerleader stopped.
And then I came to New York and started to work.
My first experience getting to know your work was your Mother Teresa work. It was very compelling to me because it was photojournalism, but there was also this very soulful and creative way that the images were presented.
I've never really thought of myself as a photojournalist, more of a documentary photographer. I always try and make each image stand on its own. When I did those pictures, I mean, it was at a time when magazines were really open to giving you that opportunity. Magazines were like grants for me. They gave me these amazing opportunities to do my own work.
Helena, you've been probably the most photographed woman in the last,
Denmark.
the last couple of decades.
No, maybe in the world.
How did you being in front of the camera influence you being behind the camera?
I do think that as a model, you give something that has to come naturally. When I'm behind the camera, I seem to stop breathing because I get so captivated by the moment. Mm-hmm. It's almost like everything just comes to a standstill. Anytime I take photographs, I definitely think of all the photographers I work with and wonder what would they do in this moment, Mary Ellen being one of them.
Mary Ellen, is there a story behind these two images?
That's something in Oaxaca that we got access to. Oaxaca's a beautiful place. It's very mysterious. We photographed in the morgue there. I never showed those images. I could sort of look at anything after that experience. The guy that ran the morgue, we called him Dr. Death.
It's creepy.
Well, he was actually really nice.
Oh, okay.
But the morgue is incredible. It was just amazing there. It has a lot of mystery and beauty. It hasn't been spoiled.
It's poetic.
It is poetic.
That's why I went as a student in one of Mary Ellen's workshops. When I found out that she was even having workshops, it was like, are you kidding me? The thought of like you can go and work with her and learn from her, that was just such an amazing thing for me that I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up, send in my photographs and see if it, happens, and it did.
This picture.
Oh my God. Was that Oaxaca?
No, it was not Oaxaca. You know what's so strange about that photo? I don't even know where I took it, and the negative was glued together with a piece of paper, so when I pulled it apart, obviously all that white stuff, which looks like ice on a window.
But that's just from the process, huh?
Yeah.
And here's another beautiful picture.
It's from my trip to Oaxaca.
I gotta get a copy of this. We gotta trade, girl.
A strange way, this looks like you, but with brown eyes.
It actually does look like
Does
you.
the mouth.
I was just thinking that.
It does. It's beautiful.
And what you don't really see here, there's a roll of thread, of gold thread.
Yeah.
That was just lying there next to her. But she looked so like she was somewhere completely different in her head, in her mind.
She's looking, she's seeing you. She sees something of herself in you. Definitely.
It was at the circus.
In your body of work, Indian circus, did that intimacy and also the gypsy quality of the circus almost make it more photogenic and romantic?
Well, Indian
so
circus
iconic.
was perfect for me. I mean, it was an amazing experience of just looking at great things to photograph constantly. And, and just walking in front of your camera, you didn't have to do anything. They just appear. It was India's like that,
How long did you spend on the project?
I spent 6 months on it. I made 2 trips, but then I went back, so more than 6 months. We did 18 different circuses.
And were they all very similar in terms of the size and what they kind of offered?
No, some were very small and some were quite large. I went to Mexico and made some photographs there, but it wasn't the same thing. I mean, nothing quite matched the great imagination of India. Everything was so beautiful there. It was just amazing. It was an amazing time. I feel it just was right there in front of me. I don't know how much I did. It just, appeared. Each circus was more visual than the next. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was just so beautiful.
When does Volume 2 come out?
To go back, I don't think it's probably changed. It's more difficult now because they don't have animals in the circuses there anymore.
Hi, I'm Mark Seliger on the set of Capture. And with me are the exceptional photographers Mary Ellen Mark and Helena Christensen. Make sure you don't miss a single episode of the show. And how do you do that? Click the subscribe button and leave a comment if you'd like. And of course, share this with your friends.